All right, so welcome back, everybody. Last session, we had a few different events taking place. First off, we had the conclusion of events at Chalet Brantifax. The opening to the Shadow Crossing closed by having a bit of a heartfelt moment with the Lady Brantifax, who, through her own grief and shame, had essentially made the Shadow Crossing and allowed it to remain open. But after one of you confronted her with a very direct representation of her grief and her shame, she agreed to end her hold on this place and was laid to rest. After that, you all returned back to Chalet Brantifax through the Shadow Crossing as it was closing. When you arrived there, the Were-Ravens were quite shocked to see that you all had survived, and not just survived, but managed to close the crossing. These ravens, seeing no further need for them to be staying there, no further reason to remain at the chalet now that the Shadow Crossing was closed, determined to leave the place and leave it alone to Haluth, the spirit of the young girl who still resided there. But before they would depart, they asked you all to carry an artifact with you back to Candlekeep for safekeeping, a figurine of the demon lord Orcus, which, through some investigation, you all learned had some pretty spectacular properties, but also was quite a dangerous piece. So, seeing that safely to a place like Candlekeep was certainly something that was of a high priority. But first, you all had a dragon to deal with. You went back to the Scorch of the Red Worm to meet with Kendrick Oso, who proceeded to continue with his plan of drawing the beast out, and then the group of you destroying it. And it turned out that that beast was no match for all of you. Seeing it grounded and then surrounded, the beast was quickly slain, but that was far from the least of your worries that day. The quote-unquote associates of Mr. Kendrick Oso had arrived early, and their intentions became clear fairly quickly, that they were there to relieve you all of whatever treasure the dragon might have had, thanking you all for doing the dirty work for them. They said to just walk away, let them take the hoard, no one would get hurt. Obviously, this was not agreeable to all of you, and after an extended melee, the leader of this group lay dead, as did their wizard. Their wizard pretty savagely cut in half at one point, and the other two fleeing into the countryside. That is where we are going to go ahead and pick up today. We are still at the Scorch of the Red Worm, preparing to delve into its home to see what kind of treasure remains of the former Red Dragon's Hoard, or the former Black Dragon's Hoard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. So, still at that location, still at the Scorch of the Red Worm. What do y'all want to do?
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mending cantrip on my Still Defender until his hit points are back up to full.
Okay.
Rigel, do you have a mending cantrip for me?
A mending
Person
cantrip.
mending.
I have. Let's see.
We could just take a short rest real quick.
Yeah, we could do that too.
Yeah, we should maybe just do that. I have two spell slots left.
That's fine.
Releve would like to make Oso feel really bad about his choice of friends. Just
He gives a shrug and he says, "They probably could have killed the dragon."
Yeah, that wasn't really the point.
Short rest, and then we dive
exactly.
into the hole.
Yeah, how deep is the
may
descent?
not hurt.
It's about 40 feet straight down. You could scale it with climbing gear or a rope.
Okay.
And rope.
Climbing gear would certainly make it considerably easier. You all can take the benefits of your short rest without incident.
Yay.
Two spells back.
Oh, if I do Song of Rest during short rest, does that do anything or no? What is that?
Yes.
Anytime you
Gives
spend
us
hit dice, yeah.
We
Yeah, I'm
get
gonna
to,
do that.
we each get to roll a. Are you still at a D6?
Yes.
So I'll roll a D6 and get to full health.
So we get an extra D6. Is that
Just
what you said?
one. Yep.
So yeah, Releve, whenever, the way your Song of Rest works is that whenever the group is spending hit dice, whether it be usually during a short rest, anytime the group spends hit dice, you can allow them to roll a d6, whatever your Bardic Inspiration die is, and they get to add that to the health gained.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Yay.
What do I click on to use one of these hit die right quick?
You'd open up your character sheet.
Hit dice.
Just character sheet and go to the hit die one there? Okay.
And it should automatically add the health to your card.
Yeah, that's all automated.
Okay.
It's nice. It used to not be.
And that's one of the biggest things that's a bummer about Herbie getting out of the biz, is he was like my main source of new APIs and stuff to use.
Okay,
I
so
talked to him a little while ago.
don't
He's
want
doing
to
pretty good.
use one.
Good to hear.
Oh, I'm glad somebody's talked to him.
Yeah, I reached out to him a couple weeks ago.
Nice, that's good to hear.
Well, that did not do anything. Oh.
Are you clicked on your
health?
character?
Well, if he's doing it from his character sheet, he shouldn't have to do it from the...
No, mine ought to do that. I don't know. I just work here.
Okay, so when you open up your character sheet, I just spent one for you. I hope you don't mind. I was just testing it. You can give it back and reroll it if you want to. But on your character sheet, below where it says your current hit points and your temporary hit points, where it's death saves and hit dice, you should just be able to hit the words hit dice, and it'll spend them for you.
Okay, let me put this one back here just so I can test fire this thing.
There you go.
That works.
Okay, so... Oof. That did not roll well, but okay.
All right.
But I get to add a d6 to it as well, right?
Uh-huh.
The 7. Definitely better than nothing.
Indeed.
And you have a number of hit dice to spend equal to your level. And those partially reset after a long rest.
You get half
Hold on.
what you've used
Does
back
that
at a long rest.
Half
hold
of what
on,
you
Does
get
it
half of your
automatically...
maximum. Okay, go
Does
ahead.
it I did not... does it automatically apply that to the character when you roll it?
Yes.
It
Or do I
should.
need to- Okay, let me take that off then. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I accidentally tried to manually enter it, and I did not need to do that.
Yep, it is automated. All you do is
Okay,
hit
there
the
we go.
button, and it does it all for you.
Okay. So that's not too bad.
We like buttons.
Mm-hmm. Buttons are good. I don't know what I'm going to do when I go back to playing in person. Like,
You've got all these buttons. It's funny because you've got all these ease of use buttons at the top of my screen, and I still just use my character sheet.
nice.
My home game all have like a tablet or or a small laptop sitting in front of them with their D&D Beyond character sheet on
I'm sure
it.
I'll do something like that too. Unless it actually comes to rolling dice, and then I'm sure I'll actually roll dice.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because nothing beats rolling real dice.
Indeed.
All right.
All right,
Short
everybody.
rest taken.
So short rest completed. Does anybody have climbing gear so that you may descend into the Black Dragon's little cavern with ease?
Nope, I've just got a rope.
Nope.
That has a rope.
No.
I have rope.
Yeah, rope's what I got.
We have the rope.
No pitons.
I have
No.
I have pitons.
Okay. So
I have pitons and silk
whoever
rope.
is going down
that-
first to set the pitons.
Is that how that word
and-
is pronounced?
I thought it was
Yeah,
Yes,
Python.
I had to. There's one of my my Frostmaiden game I record, but I don't post anywhere. It's just for them, and I forgot that my OBS audio picks up all of my desktop audio, And so I sat there and I looked up the word pitons, and then I had Google pronounce it for me like a dozen times. And so when they go back and listen to that, they're just gonna hear pitons.
That is bananas. I mean, I'm an English major, and like that blows my mind. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
All right, I learned something today. Pitons?
Piton.
Hate that. I hate that. I don't like how that
It
sounds.
look right.
Well, we can change it by pronouncing it collectively.
Yeah.
No, please, no.
We're gonna make that happen.
Man.
It's fine. I'll live with it.
Yeah. See.
Piton.
I'm all for the flexibility of language.
Piton.
There's going to be a whole group of people listening to this going, pitons.
Oh, I just triggered the Google pronounce twice. So yes, that will happen.
Yes, it's a French. It's a really really old French word.
Oh, that's why it's so weird.
Yep. Blame
God
the
damn
French.
Blame the French. For any of our, if just in case one of our like 2 or 3 regular listeners are French, I apologize. But
God damn it, Pierre.
One hate mail, because this is how you get hate mail.
The DM does not condone.
right,
This
the
speech of
disclaimer.
the French.
Right, the disclaimer before the DM does not condone any language used by the players.
Right.
All right, everyone. So, whoever is going to be heading down that hole first, you will be setting the pitons and making sure that everyone else has a safe journey down. So,
That will not be me. I will provide pitons.
Who is the best equipped
stop
to make a journey down there?
Who? What?
You can drop Releve down. She don't care.
You asked a question.
Yeah, can't Releve just like float down or something?
Oh yeah. Levitate, just levitate. We can.
Well,
you can levitate and we can push you.
Well, Sean, did you say at some point that when you turn levitate off, you just float down gently?
I believe so. Yes.
So then let's do that. She'll just knock in the pitons as she goes.
Tons.
Okay.
And meanwhile, Argoth will go flutter down and start taking a look around.
Okay. So what we will do is it would take some quick work and some pretty dexterous work to get those in quickly enough that you could just do it as you're floating downward. So why don't we get a straight dexterity check on your way down to see if you can get it all done in the one-way journey.
Okie doke. Let's see. Check.
Guidance.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So
I don't need your stinking guidance.
yeah, go ahead and roll the guidance just so we can see what the final result is there. Okay. So 17. Releve with the 17, you are able to get enough pitons into the walls of this cavern to make a safe journey down possible for everybody else. You're able to do it in the first trip.
Even the short dwarf.
Even for the short dwarf, I'm sure Releve took your stature.
Put them really
into
close
consideration.
together. I made it extra awkward for everyone else so that Uskar would have a nice, gentle trip down.
What are you talking about? It's just ladders for everyone else.
Yeah, it's a VB.
Uskar's ready to repel, so he's all right with this.
All right, everyone. So once you're all at the bottom of that chasm, you can see that it was once a pretty spectacular place. You can see passageways that are very clearly collapsed and broken away, disconnected from the rest of what might have been a larger cavern system. What's left here is essentially just a boot-shaped indentation into the earth that curves into a wider opening below. And inside of there, you find piles of slagged treasure. Much of it was very clearly destroyed during the battle between the ancient black and red dragons that fought over this place. But through what looks like possibly months of work, the young black dragon has been able to excavate and pull away certain sections, revealing undamaged sections of this treasure hoard. And as such, there is still quite a bit there for you all to gather. So, who hasn't rollen on a treasure table yet this game?
I don't think Uskar has.
Do it.
And Alistar has, because I was the one who explored one of the troll holes.
I don't think I have, but I'm also perfectly happy with others rolling as well.
Yeah, I know I have not, but it's cool.
Okay, why don't we have Rigel roll the D100 for this one?
Oh wow. Oh, look at me. The chosen one.
Don't mess it up.
Dun, 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 dun.
What is that? A D100?
D100, yes.
More pitons.
Oh, sorry.
More pitons.
I
A mountain of pitons.
You
Okay.
score
We-
100 pitons.
We have to find a way to use the word pitons in every session now.
As long as they're made of gold.
Every time you guys say it, it burrows under my skin, and I hate it.
He just
Hate that
cringes.
word. I do. I'm cringing right now. Ugh.
Okay.
Ugh.
So,
Piton?
yep, let's go
What
ahead
word is that?
and roll 2d4.
Okay. Exciting.
Okay. So mixed in with these slagged coins and everything, you do find a few sizable art pieces, mostly porcelain and gold statues, things of that nature. So art of like a sculptural or metallurgic nature, things like that. Find
okay.
about you find 5 of them. Each of them are worth about 250 gold. But if you all remember, the agreement was that any coins and valuables would go with Kendrick, and that you would all get the items. So it's up to you if you want to consider these items and how you would transport them. But there are 5 art objects worth 250 gold pieces each inside.
It's pretty
And then,
nice.
let's go ahead and get a d6. Let's have someone else roll that one. Zypher, why don't you go and roll that one? Nice.
Hey.
So you will all get 6 rolls on table A.
The magic item table.
6 rolls?
6
Nice.
rolls. It is only table A though, so don't get your hopes up.
Aww.
Yeah. So, there's 6 of you. Go ahead and everybody roll a d100.
Okay.
13. Jesus.
97.
Higher numbers, I think, are better.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay.
If I remember when I looked at all the tables.
Good job, Nathaniel.
Just you. No one else.
Okay.
Oh, no,
So,
Ryan's pretty
Okay.
good.
somebody want to take
Potions of
note
healing are good
of
too.
somebody want to take note of what you found?
Oh, yep, I already am.
So there is 1, 2, 3, 4 potions of greater healing. Or 4 potions of 4 regular potions of healing. There is a spell scroll of first
Ooh.
level, which we will determine randomly in a moment. And
fun.
finally,
Fun,
there
fun,
is a potion of greater healing as well.
Nice.
Cool.
And then finally, we have 1 roll on table B. So we need 1 D100. This is the one that has the potential to be pretty cool. So I will let all of you argue amongst yourselves who gets to do that final roll.
I'm going to roll a d6. 1's going to be Adso, 2 will be me, 3 will be Rigel, 4 Alistair, 5 Releve, 6 will be Nathaniel.
Rolling the roll.
4, so Alistair, roll a d100.
Ugh.
That is a potion of greater healing.
Okay, we got. Okay.
Tables get really good. I think it's after C.
Yeah.
I think my favorites, I think J or H.
The higher letter you go, the better stuff you get on the table.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't remember how
Cool.
many tables there are. I just remember looking at one of those 2, and it had a bunch of stuff I really liked on it. I haven't looked at it since we rolled in Frost Maiden.
Man, that's like 1,000 years ago.
Feels like it.
I do have a. Actually, I do have a question.
Hmm.
How there were remains of both the young dragon and also the two older ones up top?
The two older ones are basically just bones at this point, picked clean by scavengers and other creatures.
Okay.
The
So
black
just-
dragon, its corpse is still there and intact.
Would it be possible for me to scavenge something to potentially use in the future for some sort of item to craft?
Yeah, it would require successful survival checks to properly skin and butcher the animal.
What sort of?
Before we
You
forget,
might be able to get away with an alchemy check or something like that.
That
for
would
just,
be-
like, gathering some acid or blood.
That would be after the survival check. Depending,
Okay.
it's about
Just
it's about
curious.
getting to the glands, getting to the things, removing them safely. I feel like that's more of a
Yeah,
Or
that
Fair enough.
surgical.
It makes sense to me. Like I figured it'd have to be either. Yeah, like. Let me check something right quick because I just do not know how bad I am at this. Yeah, at least I have a +1 to it.
before we forget, should we determine what the scroll is?
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me. Just one moment.
And so, did you did you count those? Was it 5 statuesque? Got
Yep. I
Okay.
have them as 5 arts.
5 arts, nice.
that? 5 arts. 5. Love that. Good stuff.
And I assume there's
Uh-oh,
coin
my
and
dog.
like chunks of gold and silver and stuff that Oso can gather as well to.
Yeah,
Take
there's
back.
enough. Most of it is slagged, but he can uncover enough of it to take home with him.
My dogs are gonna go insane for about the next 5 minutes, so I will go mute.
All
Sorry,
right.
guys.
No worries,
Yeah.
you're good. Okay.
The bullion metals, for the most part, are pretty good about staying pure even at high
Wow,
temps.
that's actually a
So-
pretty good one. It's a protection of good and evil. Protection from good and evil.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah.
good
Right.
spell.
I can learn that.
I suppose I had best attempt to roll this bad boy. Okay, to start with, I'm going to do guidance on myself first because this is not my best. So at least I have a +3 to it.
Okay.
How badly do you want it?
I think I will burn my sessional just to see what I get.
Okay. So, with a 23, Nathaniel, you are able to harvest. What exactly are you intending to try and make out of this? Because you're able to get scales, obviously, large steaks and large pieces of meat. You're able to get to its acid glands successfully without damaging them or yourself in the process. Fangs, claws, you're able to get all of it.
I would like to try to collect some of the acid from the acid gland.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, you're able to collect the acid without any issue, without much issue, without any unfortunates.
And I will admit I was kind of looking for some skill to see if I could use that for other folks' armor or weaponry to assist them at some point in the future.
Yeah.
I also know when it comes to making stuff, a lot of it kind of comes up to DM discretion too.
Right. So when you go to create that kind of stuff, it'll all come down to who's there to assist you, your own skill in that art of crafting, and so on in that manner. But yeah, you'd be able to create armors. I feel like Xanathar's guide to creating armor takes too long, so we'll find a way to expedite that. But
Yeah.
You know, druids can't wear metal armor, but they can wear medium armor made of
Dragon scale.
Dragon scale? I'm just throwing that out there.
Yep. That's one of the
We
things I'd
can-
consider.
We can take back as much of this as you want.
I say, Uskar's strong. He can carry a good amount.
I can carry it all.
Oh yeah, I forgot your stupid genie bottle. Yeah.
So
And now I'm picturing Alistair jumping on this dragon corpse, shoving it through the little tiny hole in the top of his bottle, like a cartoon.
You just got Uskar in the background, just grumbling and shaking his head like with disdain.
Just not looking, you don't look, it doesn't exist.
Where'd it
He's
go?
just like he's just looking the other way, picking at his fingernails with his axe.
Rigel totally did not ask for this and is just practicing kickflips in the background.
All right, everyone. So once you've done that, and Kendrick has helped you get all the stuff up and out of the chasm, and he has spent a good several hours hacking away at the melted piles of gold and silver. He seems pretty satisfied, and when he gets back up to the top, you see him pull out this scroll, and he's just like looking at it, all very confused, and he's like, "Do any of you know how to use a teleportation scroll? I hear if you get it wrong, you could end up in like hell or something."
Ooh.
Where are you trying to go?
Where are we now?
So right now, you all are right around, I'm going to ping it on the map, right around here.
Sorry, that was my bad joke, meaning we are in hell. So.
Oh, no.
No.
But, well, my plan was
Hellish.
I was supposed to use it to get back to Waterdeep, but I don't really know the area I'm supposed to head back to. I just was going to think of Waterdeep and then just do the thing. Work out, right?
Well, I just cracked my knuckles. I know a thing about spells or two, darling.
So he hands it over to you.
Okay, how much of this spell do I know?
It is a teleport. It is literally teleportation. The spell teleportation.
That's
So
above my current level right now.
those of you that want to is anyone proficient in Arcana? You could roll an
I
Arcana
am.
check.
Oh hell no!
Oof. Hey, I'll use my shift to roll again.
Okay.
+1.
Wow.
Wow.
Look out.
14.
Plus
Anyone
two.
want to add?
Uh,
Can we throw a guidance in there?
Phil, yeah, I'll throw in a guidance because I'm sitting there trying to make it out as well.
All right. So 18.
Hey, okay,
Nice.
18.
So, you were realizing that the way that Kendrick is going to attempt to use this thing, he is just about as likely to end up in the ocean about a mile offshore as he is to wind up actually in Waterdeep.
Oh, you will be
Not
deep
a
in
bad
water.
result.
But you also know that since you all have access to an actual teleportation circle, you all have a 100% chance of getting back to Silvery Moon using that scroll.
Oh, so should we tell him just let's go to Silvery Moon instead?
Yes.
But that's literally the opposite direction.
Let's go to Silvery Moon.
Oh,
please.
the little girl.
Here.
Kendrick,
Okay,
ah!
do you either do you want to be deep in water or in water deep?
Is this a trick question?
Yeah, okay, we have 100% chance of going to Silvery Moon. If we take our chance to use this scroll for anywhere else, it's not gonna be great.
I don't understand how getting to Silvery Moon will help me get back to Waterdeep.
You can get there. You know the way from Silvery Moon to Waterdeep, don't you?
I know the way from here to Waterdeep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
Okay.
it's just as far.
Then you go to Waterdeep. We're going to Silvery Moon.
I'm sure. Surely. How about this? I bet if you gave them at the place we're going in Silvery Moon, I bet if you gave them one of these sculptures, they would be willing to use their teleportation circle to send you directly to Waterdeep or Neverwinter or whatever it is you're wanting to go.
And it doesn't have the risk of failure.
That does seem to check out.
Because
They do enjoy their ancient artifacts in that elvish city. So, are you saying that I could take these art objects with me back to Waterdeep, and I would just part with one of them in Silvery Moon?
You said you had people who needed money.
I do.
This is a good way to do it.
I was able to scrounge about 600 or 700 gold worth of slag out of the cave, but more would certainly be good.
Well, then.
Amy's willing to give up her share.
You can give up one. Do we want to give up all 5?
Well, he can have releves because she doesn't particularly feel like she should be rewarded for murdering a dragon.
Okay, so take 2.
And Amy definitely wants to help him.
Okay. Take 3. Well, there's 5 of us, or there's 5 arts, and there's 6 of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not 1 each.
Well, I figure us being able to teleport to Silvery Moon is worth 1.
Okay.
Which he might have to pay to get somebody to teleport him from Silvery Moon to Waterdeep.
Here. Also, just take 2.
He's agreeable to that.
Okay, there we go. We now have 3 arts.
All right, then. Let's go! And he just holds the scroll up and starts shaking it.
Oh, gosh.
Nothing's happening.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you cast it.
Oh, thank God you're pretty because, wow.
Is he pretty?
I'm assuming.
I mean, that is entirely up to personal preference. But,
Maybe Releve likes him ugly.
Okay, shall we take away the scroll from him and do the casty?
So as soon as you all see him doing that, he catches all the looks and he's like, oh, here, he hands it over to Adso.
And off we go.
As Adso is casting that, y'all will see Amy change shape into a shape that you've never seen before, and it's just you can't even see the person. All it is a person completely enveloped in a very nondescript gray cloak with a hood that like pulls down, covering half their face, and off y'all go.
Okay.
We've seen this one before.
Gives Knife Dark.
You've never seen that one before.
Oh boy. Are you okay?
I'm good.
All right,
Alright,
so
just checking.
as
Uster
Adso
just ignores
finishes
them.
casting from the scroll, you're all enveloped in this bluish, silverish swirl of energies, and then you suddenly find yourselves back at Silvery Moon. And as soon as you arrive, it's with this loud bang, like it is every time the teleportation goes through, and 8 heavily armored Citadel guards immediately turn and drop into a offensive stance and point halberds at you all.
You guys are so jumpy.
They do not respond to you, and instead say, "State your business." These shift changes happen. These are not the same guards that saw you all arrive here.
Oh, they all look the same to me.
You're just returning the way we came. We were here 9 or 10 days ago. That is all in a whisper.
So they say, they don't change their posture at all. And they say, "Weapons down, hands up, come with us." And as they're beginning to give you these orders, you hear a woman from behind them, "Stand down, everyone." And Aristina, Leola's Cedar Guard, your original guide, arrives. And she says, walking past the guards and just speaking to you all directly, "We weren't expecting you to be arriving from the teleportation circles again. And who is this?" She says, looking over towards Kendrick, who's like kind of like ducking down behind people.
Oh, he's our stray.
He gives a bit of a wave to Leolith.
Kind of our thing. We find people on our adventures and they end up coming back with us.
Do
Leolith
we?
says, "So you all vouch
Jar
for
of
this one
pickles.
then?"
Is he somewhat?
I mean, how closely is she going to question us about him? Sure.
She nods and says, "Very well." And then she gestures you all through the teleportation circle. As soon as she said stand down, all of the guards put their halberds away and turned back, and with their backs to the teleportation circle. She says, "Reports are already coming in from the countryside that you all were successful. We had planned to throw a bit of a celebration for your arrival, especially since you've managed to clear the corruption from this area, but you all seem to have beaten us to it. So, allow me to be the first to congratulate you on clearing the presence of the shadow from these lands."
How did they find out so quickly?
Word travels fast.
A little birdie told you?
Elves know everything.
She looks towards you and says, "It is a safe assumption that we do."
Okay.
Yes, believe. But,
Nathaniel whispers to Uskar, accept the true secret workings of how to do proper metal work.
And he's not
You
quiet
get us
about it.
murdered.
Leolith, hearing very well, says, "There are some elvish smiths here that would like to hear your opinion on that one, I'm sure. But you all have earned your stay here in Silvery Moon. Our archives, our libraries are open to you. You may stay as long as you'd like. You will each have private quarters here in the city for as long as you require them. Our scholars have been informed of your presence, and to assist you in whatever research and gathering any knowledge that you may seek." And then she gestures again, says, "The archives this way, the Grand Library this way." And she looks towards you, Alistair, again, seeing through your disguise without acknowledging you. She looks towards you and says, "And..."
Actually, she's not seeing through a disguise. I am not disguised.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. She does look directly towards you and says, "And there's somebody here that I believe you would very much like to meet as well. Aristina arrived back in the city 3 days ago and has been waiting for you."
That is music to my ears.
So she nods and says, "She'll be waiting for you in the promenade whenever you're ready to meet with her."
I give a deep nod.
All right, so you all have free range of the elvish city of Silvery Moon. This place is, I would say, second in its accumulation of knowledge only to Candlekeep, but some of the sages here would say the same thing about Candlekeep, that Candlekeep is second only to Silvery Moon.
Okay.
So,
It depends on what you're wanting to research.
yeah, pretty much. So, let's go ahead and start with Alistair. So, and then after Alistair meets with Aristina, asks the question she has of him, you all can tell us what it is that you're researching, what you're looking into. Think about what your character would want to get out of basically a limitless source of information. Think about what's motivating them to go into Candlekeep in the first place and to continue on in the adventure. What do they want to eventually learn about the world or themselves? So, you're all the more than welcome to take a long rest if you'd like to first before you start off on doing that. But Aristina will be in the promenade for Alistair whenever they're ready.
What time of day is it?
Right now, it's probably about late afternoon, getting close to evening.
And then Alistair will arrange for where he will meet up with everybody else and head straight to the promenade.
Okay. So, Alistair, to get to the promenade, you need to cross over the moon bridge again. Again, it is just this arch of luminous white light that doesn't look like it should support any weight, but as soon as you step foot on it, it's just as solid as marble. But you cross over that again, and the people here in Silvery Moon are very calm, very peaceful. They seem to move with a slow but confident purpose wherever they go. And there is representatives of all peoples here, not just elves. While elves are the most frequently seen, there are tabaxi, even some lizard folk wandering around, doing their best not to insult or step on toes in this area. But yeah, not long after crossing onto the other side of the moon bridge, you do come across a wide open space with several, it seems like randomly placed benches, but if you were to see this from above, it would make a very deliberate arcane symbol in the promenade. But sitting near the center near a large fountain.
This is the same place we went and met Aloric, right?
I believe
Is it
so.
the promenade?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, sitting near the center, next to a very large and elaborate fountain, is a lone elven woman. She stands there. She's got a book open, her feet up, just kind of looking around. And as you approach, she looks up towards you and gives you a small wave.
Alistair will pull back his hood, their hood. Are you Aristina Silvery Moon? Or not Silvery Moon, Silverhand?
She gives a bit of a smile. She's like, I am, Aristina Silverhand, and you must be Alistair. It is a pleasure to meet you. And she extends her hand.
I bow.
She doesn't miss a beat and retracts her hand and returns the gesture. And she says, so, I hear you have some questions for me, some inquiries about your origins.
As is probably obvious, I am of very mixed origins. One of the librarians at the Candlekeep suggested that you may have information about the source of one of my origins, and that is my drow heritage.
She nods and says, I do, in fact. I've had many encounters with the drow. One in particular, I believe, is a shining example of the potential of their kind. Have you heard of Drizzt Do'Urden?
Oh.
I mean, I personally have, but I have I doubt Alistair has. But
so if Alistair has not, then she would go on to relay the tale of Drizzt Do'Urden, how he was a young noble of one of the high houses of Menzoberranzan, but the savagery and malicious nature of the people of that city drove him away, and he spent several years lost, not directionally lost, but more spiritually and mentally lost in the Underdark near his city, until he finally decided to venture towards the surface and fully shed the history of his people behind him and become his own person. It was a long time after he came to the surface, a long time after that, Aristina came across him, and she had heard from her mother that Drizzt, upon nearing the city, was originally denied entry. Although Silvery Moon claims to be a place where all are welcome, Drizzt was not. and that her mother, Laurel, or Illustrial herself, went out to the edges of the city to tell Drizzt just how terrible she thought it was that he was denied entry. And after a while, and after a few events, Drizzt was eventually allowed entry, and that is how Aristina came to know him. That he was welcome within the city. And many years after his original appearance at the city, Aristina met him, and she has a very unique perspective on the Drow since then, since her and Drizzt led a rescue mission into the city of Menzoberranzan itself to rescue some of the elves that had been kidnapped from nearby Silvery Moon. So she says yes, that she has quite a bit of insight into the Drow, and would be happy to share whatever it is that you want to know. What questions do you have for her?
So, Alistair will relate the story of his mother as he knows it. He only remembers snatches, but he does know that his mother never saw the sun or the moon, and that she died in the dungeons beneath Waterdeep at the hands of adventurers. And that he has lived his entire life, first growing up in Waterdeep and then traveling up and down the Sword Coast. And feels a need to see his mother's origins at some point. He doesn't know if she was from Menzoberranzan or another Drow settlement. All he knows is that she was afraid.
So Aristina would tell you just how saddened she is by the fact that your mother was struck down beneath the city by people who probably thought they were doing the right thing, although obviously misguided they were. So she'll express her sympathies for that not everyone has been able to see a side of the Drow that she has, that too many people assume that they're all as they are in Menzoberranzan. And yeah. So she asks if you intend to see one of the cities one day, and asks if
I do.
to. So
is there a reliable entrance in this area to the Underdark that would lead to Drow settlements?
She nods and says that there are several in the area. That it is not something that should be done lightly, though. A trip into the Underdark, for those unprepared, is a one-way trip.
I am well aware that I am not yet ready for such a journey. I am patient.
She
I think I will
also
know when it is
says,
time.
When you do decide that it is time, do you wish to go to Menzoberranzan, or perhaps one of the other cities? They've recently begun hearing word of a different kind of Drow city than they're used to.
I feel if I went to Menzoberranzan, it might bring out my darker nature.
She says that is always a fear. Any Drow returning to that city is... She pauses for a moment, and then she says, well, Lolth's hold on them is still quite strong. There is another
Although
vying
I
for
may possibly be able to walk there unobserved, and I will briefly change my shape to that of a full Drow elf.
She nods
And then back.
says, it is very convincing. Although, be wary if you do try that. There are some there that may be able to see through any guise. But maybe before journeying towards Menzoberranzan, maybe seeing one of the other cities. You couldn't really call it a city. It's more a settlement. We've recently discovered of it. Hundreds of drow living under the guidance of Elistray. Do you know of Elistray?
Hmm. I've read some. Are they on the surface or below?
They are far below. They have several of their caverns, even though deep beneath the Underdark, have long caverns that expose to the night sky. The moonlight glowing in spectacular ways to shine over their city beneath the earth.
Are they close to here? I would think that Menzoberranzan would seek to extinguish that light.
Oh, they most certainly do. They are near. Not as near as Menzoberranzan, but close. The location is a closely guarded secret. I would not feel it proper to share it with you unless you were prepared to go there, and in which case I would certainly need to accompany you so that they didn't, well, kill you on sight for discovering their city.
Perhaps not now, but maybe one day in the future I may call upon you and we may travel there together.
She nods and says that Leolith always has a way to contact her. So arrive here, and she will be able to arrive at the city whenever, within a 10-day, wherever she is.
I thank you. And I will give her a gift of the myconid spore pod that I am carrying and explain to her what it is. She may recognize it.
She
from
does
her
immediately.
Travels.
And she, being very grateful as she is, says, well, if we are giving gifts, then perhaps. And she pulls out a very thin, extremely delicate looking, looks like a cloak. She says, last time Drizzt and I were together, he gave me this. I would very much think he would like you to have it. And she hands you a Pewafwi.
Oh my.
Oh.
Yeah, tears. And since I'm not under disguise, she would see them.
Can one disguised self tear ducks away? Or is that alter self?
Okay, I've got to turn the compendium on this game to actually get you a Pewafwi, so give me just one moment, I'll do that.
I think it's in D&D Beyond.
Nice. There you go.
I just don't know how to spell it.
Piwafwi.
Yep. Got it.
Okay.
Wow.
Essentially a cloak of elvenkind, but drow.
Yeah. I cannot. I do not have the words to thank you. Thank you.
She nods and says that she looks forward to visiting the drow with you one day.
As do I. Have a good evening. And head back to meet up with my companions wherever they have wandered off to.
Okay. So, I'm going to just go down the list here.
I'm going to step away for a moment.
Okay, so let's just go down the list here as I see it on Discord. Ace, what would Releve be doing with her time in Silvery Moon?
Probably looking for the loudest place there.
Okay. The loudest place there is only about 1/10 as loud as what you would see in a place like Neverwinter or Waterdeep, but there's obviously some music drifting out from it. You can hear Actually, one of the loudest things you hear is corks popping.
She definitely wants to go in and liven it up because she does not know any better.
Okay. All right, great. So once you get in there, everyone is obviously very, very respectfully kind of keeping their voices down. A few bar attendants are going between the tables, refilling wine, which actually seems to almost glow as it exits from the bottles. Elvish
Is
wine.
it like the? Oh, okay. So it's not like the celestial stuff.
No, not nothing that fancy being just served at regular tables, but it is of Elvish make.
Okay. Willoughby is going to pull out her violin and get ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
This is totally the crowd for that.
Indeed. Let's go ahead and see a performance check.
Okay.
Just warming
Well,
up.
Yeah,
So
warming up.
so a lot of the people kind of stop what they're doing and listen very respectfully. But then when you finish, there's like a small spattering of very, very light golf claps, and then everyone goes back to their drinks.
Yeah, she'll try again whenever you say she can,
Okay.
because she's just gonna like resin the bow up real well and like pull up her big girl pants and okay, you asked for it, that kind of thing.
All right. Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and make another one now. We'll say that about an hour has passed. We're jumping around in time here.
Okay. Performance. Oh my gosh! Can I use my sessional, please?
Of course you can.
Thank you.
Wow.
Wow, the fight you guys are in for later is just going to be a breeze for me now. I'm totally
Listen,
joking.
Going
Totally
Marks.
joking.
So we're deciding to TPK now.
But relevant. This time, what kind of a song are you playing for them?
Well, the first one was probably really high energy, and this one was probably a lot more like they're elves, so they probably like sad stuff. That's what's going on in her head. So she made it a lot more like less Lindsay Sterling, more American Tail.
Okay. So more of like a western, like a turn of the
Original American Tail.
right. Okay. Sorry, I hear American Tail. I see Fifel Goes West.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yo.
It's somewhere out there.
But Fifel. Okay.
Fifel.
Beneath the pale moonlight.
Oh God, I feel like a lot of us just aged ourselves quite thoroughly here. But I
Yes,
digress.
now I have gray hair. Thank you.
All right, but this time, after the first few notes, a lot of drinks get set down. The place officially quiets, and everyone is watching you now. And not just out of a quiet respect, but you can tell that a lot of them are thoroughly moved by this performance that you're giving right now. And at the end of it, a few of those that are not native to Silvery Moon begin clapping quite loud, and you see more people are just kind of watching you, and then they give you a deep bow, and a few of the elves in the area, in the place, kind of make a little bit of an audible gasp, because it is an extremely high honor that they have just given you. These older elves don't show that kind of respect for a song unless they truly mean it. So you have definitely impressed quite a few people in Silvery Moon with this performance.
Yay! She's just gonna curtsy back. She won't understand what the significance of their bow means, so she'll just curtsy back.
All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and head over to Adso. What are you doing with your time in Silvery Moon?
Okay, so we got access to their stores of knowledge.
You do.
I wonder if they have like any like books and such about like people who have attempted time travel. Anything on the Netherese who were doing probably some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, definitely, especially this close to the north, where not long ago, a group of adventurers were able to actually uncover a Netherese city.
Ooh. Is it the same adventures I'm thinking about?
Yeah. Freaking wildfire druid who for some reason walked around looking like a pile of snowballs. A
Which
very
campaign was this? I'm curious.
This was our last campaign.
the one just before
Yup.
this one.
Yup.
But yeah, Adso, you are able to find quite a bit of
That
knowledge. In
wildfire
fact, there's a
druid.
lot of people
That's a
actively
great
talking
person.
about it wherever you go in the libraries right now.
Oh, they're actively talking about the
Oh, yeah.
Netherese city? Oh, okay.
Actively talking about the Netherese, time travel, things of that nature. So, when you first come into one of the grand libraries, there's a group of about 6 people standing around, and they're saying we should go back there immediately and activate the obelisk. We must know its capabilities. And another one shoots back and says, "Are you mad? You might destroy the entirety of the North." And a few other people will be like, "Don't be dramatic," and then arguments erupt throughout the place.
This obelisk you're talking about, do you guys know how it functions?
And one of them turns towards you and he says, "If we knew how it functions, we would know why it functions, and then we would know what it would function to do." Fool.
So we're just gonna turn it on and see what happens?
And
Or you guys
again,
are.
the place just erupts in argument. That's obviously the argument
Okay.
happening here of if they should do anything with it yet.
Who's in control of the city right now?
Currently, the leadership of 10 towns has claimed it as one of their own places. They guard it quite thoroughly. You may only enter with paperwork,
So the Brotherhood
bureaucracy.
isn't doing anything about it right now?
What was that?
Is the Brotherhood still a thing?
The Brotherhood, after their involvement with the city, has taken a step back. They don't look too great after several of their members attempted to violently murder their way to the city and stage coups and all of these things.
Okay. Where's the Brotherhood, like, HQ, by the way?
Luskin.
Luskin. Okay.
And don't worry, anybody. We will not be giving any major plot spoilers to Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Yeah.
For anyone
So-
who might want to play that in the future.
So we're not gonna go all the way back to that city.
Right. Let's not do that.
Okay. So if
Yeah,
I
let's
wanted to
not
contact
do that.
anyone, if I wanted to contact anyone that found any information on how to use this obelisk or is
it is-
conducting experiments,
It is still very much up in the air right now, and currently there is an excavation process underway to remove the city itself from the glacier.
ooh. And would Candlekeep want to know anything about this, or does Candlekeep already have their fingers in this?
No one's brought it up to you yet, but it does stand to reason that with the reach of Candlekeep that they've got some people involved.
Okay, maybe I will just do some of my own research. But do you have any people of your own involved here that I can talk to?
Yeah. So as they're having this whole argument, there's been a elfish man sitting near the back of the group that has been quiet. He's been surprisingly quiet. And says, "Well, only one of the people here present has actually been to the city and has actually seen the obelisk. But he likes to keep to himself. Elenon! And the guy in the back kind of gets up and he walks over and he says, "Are you all ready to actually begin speaking sense on the matter, or is it all just still switch it on and see what happens?" And he says,
Oh, a man of
"Greetings,
science.
Elenon. Nice, very, very nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you too. And I do a flourishy bow. Adzo Candlekeep here, just rife with curiosity, as one does.
Says, "Well, the artifact that we've been studying is quite powerful. We've actually seen several similar obelisks throughout the Sword Coast. There's rumored to be one in Chult. There's another in Waterdeep. They're all over the place, and they seem identical. We're worried.
Oh.
My biggest fear is that turning one on will somehow have calamitous effects at the other cities, at the other locations. But
Are they in some way connected with each other?
it
through the
seems likely that they are. The
Oh.
make, the symbology on them, being so close in shape, size, and They're etchings. It seems foolish to think that they aren't somehow connected to one another.
And have we discovered what material these things are made of?
It seems to be a material entirely of magical origin, created from magical essence to serve some specific purpose. But the Netherese being gone for so long, and no way of truly communicating with them aside from their programmed messages they left behind, there's no way to know for sure.
Okay, so we've got the 10 Towns area, Chult, and Waterdeep. Those are the only 3 we know of so far?
There's also believed to be another one in the Anarok Desert.
Okay. Anarok Desert. Well, and is there any expedition right now to take the one in the desert?
Not currently in the desert, no. It's rumor and speculation that leads us there.
Okay. Well, this has been pretty informative. As well as even adding more mystery upon mysteries, but I guess that's what research leads to.
Says indeed.
Yeah, what is it?
Shall we
what is
reach
the
out
current
to you if we are going to be launching an expedition into the desert? I would very much like a even-minded professional on the expedition if we were to go.
Oh yes, of course. I would be so willing to do so, and I'm sure Candlekeep would love to have a delegate there as well. And me, I can represent them if I go with you.
Very well. It's settled then. We'll send word to Candlekeep as soon as we mount the expedition into the desert. It's likely to be some months, if not a full cycle, before we go, though.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. Finding another Netherese city. Or
Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to Nathaniel. What are you doing with your time in Silvery Moon?
Well, considering the fact that it is an area that I don't normally have access to, I'm attempting to look into, well, there's 2 things. Research into how to incorporate said dragon parts just collected into various items for future use. And also looking into a little bit about the construction of artificial beings such as golems, constructs, things of that nature.
Okay.
Things similar to the Steel Defender I have kind of behind me.
All right. So, questioning along those lines, they would eventually point you towards the forges and the smiths of Silvery Moon. It's pretty clear when you're starting to get close because it's one of the only places in the entire city that could be considered quote-unquote loud. Hammers are ringing against steel constantly. It seems to form almost more of a musical tone than actual just noise, though, the closer that you get to it. And eventually they do lead you... Sorry, 1 second, I have to take down that NPC's name, otherwise it'll be lost forever. The one that Adso just talked to.
do you want to spell it out?
Yep, I can spell it out for you if you want it for your notes.
Yes.
Okay. So that was Elanon, Elanan, Enoa, Ennoha. Okay. So, but Nathaniel leads you down to this forge level, and your guide, Leolith, leads you down into that area, and then she would introduce you to somebody who isn't really doing much hammering himself. He's kind of just standing back and watching over everybody. Every now and then you'll see him approach one of the smiths give a few directions and then back up. And Leela says, "That is Adlar. He has been in charge of this forge for 500 years. If there is anyone in the region that knows more about metallurgy, machining, general craftsmanship, I would certainly like to meet him and pick his mind, but Adlar there would be more than happy to help you with whatever you need help with."
I very much appreciate it.
So, Nathaniel, do you have your Steel Defender just like hanging out and walking around with you as you're going through?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, as you approach, Adlar kind of perks his ear up towards you, and then he turns, and he looks first at you, and then his eyes widen as he sees the Steel Defender, and he says, "By the gods, I was hoping you would find it fit to visit my forge. Welcome. Welcome, I am Adlar. This is truly a magnificent machine you have constructed."
I assure you that the honor is all mine to visit such facilities as these. He pats a Steel Defender on the back and says, "As far as my creation here, he is a combination of of the sciences of metallurgy with a bit of alchemy and a bit of magic tossed into the mix as well."
He's like kneeling down in front of it, like examining it super carefully, like lifting panels. Just yeah, it would be it would almost consider almost weird how interested he is in this, but he is. But after you finish your description, he stands and he says, "Well, what can I help you with? There is so many things that I have to ask you about this machine, but you've come here for a reason. What can I help you with?"
Well, twofold. The first one is I have recently, in our adventures, in the woods up north. Well, we engaged in battle with a black dragon. I've collected and salvaged some various pieces and scaled and the like from it, and I have never worked with Dragon Scale before, so I was kind of wanting to pick up some pointers from the experts.
The scales, yes, absolutely. The scales can be crafted into various types of armor. Um, the He takes a look at the scales and says, "A young specimen, yes."
Yes, apparently.
Very well.
I am very happy I was young, because if that's the size of a young one, I would definitely hate to have to encounter a fully adult one.
He says, "Yes, indeed. Likely fortuitous that you only went up against one, a juvenile such as this. Malicious and brutal creatures, the black dragons, but their scales do make fine armors. A young dragon, their scales haven't fully matured yet, so they are not quite as resilient as that of their older brethren, but the application of them into armor is equivalent to splints and hardened leathers. It's something that we could teach you in a few hours."
In that case, consider me a very apt pupil.
Okay. So they can show you how to make a set of armor. They say that to actually make the set, they could very well have one done within 2 days. So we'll say that by the time you all are ready to leave from Silvery Moon, you will have a set of medium armor, however you'd like it to be, that will be made of these dragon scales.
Okay. I know part of what I was thinking was it could assist her. Is it considered? It is considered the equivalent of leather armor, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Basically, any medium armor. It can mimic you can make any sort of medium armor out of this. Whether that be leather or not.
Leather armor would actually be light armor, so.
Yeah. I was meaning more because since we do have a druid in the party and he's incapable of wearing.
Wear your
Metal.
cousin's skin.
Nice. But yeah, any sort of medium armor you can leave Silvery Moon with, made of dragon scale.
Okay. And there is one more thing he is going to want to attempt to craft while he's in Silvery Moon. He has been watching the strange movements and kicks of Rigel. And he thinks he has thought of whatever Rigel is using. So he's attaching some wheels to this wooden shield.
Okay.
And he's sure that Rigel will appreciate this since he always sits there and does all these, what he calls kick flips and stuff with nothing there.
So you're making Rigel like a legit skateboard here? Is that what's going on?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Like one of the off-road skateboards.
A longboard, it would have to be.
So, yeah. Yep.
You've seen the rough terrain off like
Dirt
skateboards
boards.
that people use to go down like mountainsides and stuff, right?
Dirt boards.
I haven't, but if they exist, that's what I'm going to assume it is. I will
You
admit I'm
have
really
absolutely seen them, Hank, because I had
Yeah.
them.
Okay. And I've seen them. I will admit I'm mainly doing that for flavor more than anything.
Oh yeah.
I figure it gives us zero benefit in any combat.
Should
or
you be
anything
eating
like
candy
that.
right now?
I mean,
Get outta here.
maybe it can increase movement speed once practiced
It's a
well enough
land
for something along
vehicle.
those lines. Yeah, land vehicle. Yeah, maybe using it for long enough. Maybe using it for long enough can give Rigel proficiency in land vehicles.
But I
It's a
figure
beautiful
though.
thing.
But I figure as far as the armor itself, I'll probably try to make it, if it's the equivalent of any medium armor, make it like a breastplate, which doesn't so much affect, just because it's the highest one you can get that doesn't have that stealth disadvantage.
Okay, so you want to make a breastplate out of dragon scale? It's a dragon scale breastplate.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So,
And anything else you wanted to discuss with him?
if they had any sort of knowledge about how various other constructs and the like have been made in the past, just to try to see if there are ways that I could improve my Steel Defender in the future, which...
Okay.
I'm not necessarily expecting it to be anything that would come into play this session with it or anything. It's more just the character would ask about it.
Yeah, he says that there's all kinds of different things that he could think of to modify the Steel Defender. Various different things that could be done to make it stronger, perhaps change its damage type for brief periods of time, things like that. Maybe even finding ways to infuse an elemental power into it to alter its damage output for brief stints.
Interesting.
That. Yeah,
And
at that. Go ahead.
He is, of course, sitting there jotting some of these ideas down and everything. And, he does also show them where he has been starting a little design regarding, how he has both his Morning Star and a mace. Where he's kind of trying to work out how to combine the two, where you can swap between the damage types on it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's like, just a case of, see, the idea is you have the handle here where you twist like this, and out pop the flanges and spikes.
Right.
And you twist back and just folds back in. So if you need to, that way you have both piercing and bludgeoning all at once.
Yeah, he is most definitely impressed by that.
That'll take me some time to actually, because constructed and a little bit more measuring and working out the math behind it.
Right.
Will you go, please?
Mm-mm.
All right. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Rigel, what would you be up to with your downtime here in Silvery Moon?
Oh boy. Sorry. I would I'd be doing. So Rigel would be curious about the nature of dragons
Yeah.
and dragonborns. And so I would be kind of seeking out any kind of knowledge in regards to that. If I don't know.
So-
I don't know where I would find that, but I would be like seeking that out. I would try
So,
to,
as
like,
you
find
inquire
that out.
about dragons and dragonkind, they eventually you meet a few people and they say, "You mean no one's told you yet? There's a visitor here in Candlekeep that you might very much like to meet."
What? Ooh, do tell.
So they say,
Uh,
"Yeah, absolutely.
What do
This
you
way, this
What
way."
do you mean? What?
Oh.
What? Okay. Okay. Let's
This
go.
way. And a few of the scholars begin leading you around, and they lead you nearly to the outskirts of the city. And
Okay.
they say, "Brisois! Brisois, are you here?" And a few moments later, you hear coming from the woods, and a great reptilian head pushes its way out of the brush and out of the forest, and a brass dragon reaches out and looks out towards all of you and says, "Greetings, friends. Why have you summoned me?" And then he finally looks down and says, "Oh, why hello, little one."
What? Okay. Hello. Hey there.
Says, "Of the gem dragons you are. I can't quite put down the coloration, though." What kind of gem dragonborn are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm real shiny. I'm shit. Am I? I think I'm an amethyst.
Amethyst, that's what it was. Yep.
Yes.
Sorry. I was like,
We
wait,
all
what?
remember.
Right.
Thank you. Um, yeah, like an amethyst. I don't know. Shiny.
Fantastic. I don't believe I've ever met one of your progenitors before. I believe I've heard stories of their kind. How much do you know of the amethyst of my kind?
I actually don't know anything. I I don't know who my parents are. I was like I wasn't just an egg. They dropped me off. That's all I know.
Says, "Truly, a sad tale you tell, young one. They must have truly cared for you, though. The legends of the Amethyst Dragons say that they hold study and the pursuit of knowledge above all else. The fact that they left you at a place like Candlekeep shows that they at least cared that you were brought up in the way of their kind."
I don't understand. Who was they? Like, why? Do you have any idea who my parents are?
He shakes his head and says, "I'm afraid I do not. But if they are anything like my kind, the Amethyst Dragons, powerful beings, said to be the most powerful of the Gem Dragons.
Well, I guess that's good to hear. Are you saying I'm one of the most powerful dragons? Dragonborn?
He gives a bit of a smile and nods. He says, the power does lie within you. It is in your very blood.
Oh, jeez. Well, I just feel I feel a little lost. I don't know who my real parents are. I don't know what my purpose is. What should I be doing?
Seek knowledge as much as you can. In this way, you will be closer to them. They are the progenitors of psionic arts, the study of the mind's effect on the real material world. Develop that in yourself, and maybe they come looking for you.
Gosh, that's crazy. Okay, okay, okay. I will. I will do that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
He nods, and as you're turning to go, he says, wait, there is one thing I nearly forgot. It's been nearly 300 years since I've heard of them, but there was an order of monks deep in the mountains near the Sea of Shining Stars, Sea of Falling Stars. A monastery there. They deified the Amethyst Dragons. The only Amethyst Dragonborns I've ever heard of had come from there. If in your studies you learn of a group, an order of monks, I would highly recommend following that path.
Okay, okay. The monks of. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Say that again. The monks of who?
The Immortal
Where?
Lotus. The monks of the
The
Immortal,
Immortal Lotus. Okay, okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I will seek them out. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
He nods and says, now, where did that deer go? And he turns and starts stalking back into the forest.
Holy snap. That was awesome.
All right. And last but not least,
Very
Uskar.
nice.
What are you doing with your time in Silvery Moon?
Uskar is going to be...
Hiding from the magic.
He's going to go into researching dark magic.
Just dark magic in general.
Dark magic.
Isn't that all magic to him, though?
No,
Yeah.
there's a... haven't pinpointed it because he doesn't understand it enough, so he's trying to understand it and research about it to find out some stuff about his brother.
Okay.
Do we know anything about your brother, or is that kind of one of your secrets?
I couldn't hear you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
barely got you. Sounded like we were hearing you from Hank's and not from you.
She asked if the party knows anything about Uskar's brother.
Or is that a secret?
He hasn't opened up about it yet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, Uskar, in your research, first off, go ahead and roll an investigation check. Nice. Very nice. Okay. So, as you are investigating and looking into dark magics and any relationships they might have to Waterdeep specifically and the things that happened with your brother, you eventually do come across a bit. It's almost like a personal journal that's in these archives, and kind of a rabbit hole that led you to this document. But a long time ago in Waterdeep, you actually hadn't heard about this before, but a long time ago in Waterdeep, there was a string of violent events that could have almost word for word been a retelling of what happened with your brother and the blacksmith and all of those violent events that happened there in the city. And you'd never heard of this before, but it's almost identical occurrence. So what happened with all of those events in Waterdeep was very much a reoccurrence instead of a unique event. The word that keeps coming up for you, Uskar, is Yellowcrest. Can't tell if it's a name of a person, a place, but the word Yellowcrest keeps coming up over and over again in regards to what happened in Waterdeep.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's good information. Well, still pretty despondent because he feels like he really hasn't gotten anywhere. He's still more confused than anything. He's gonna head to the inn and get drunk.
Nice.
Sad time.
Try to ignore all the magic. He's gonna go get some drinks, see if the inn's got any good cigars for him or not.
The wine glows. Just
Are
The
we
wine-
are we staying at the Gilded Lion again?
I would assume that you all are, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go have some drinks, smoke some good cigars, listen to Releve play her violin.
All right.
And that's how he's gonna end his day.
Okay, so we'll say that you all spent maybe about 2 or 3 days in Silvery Moon. All of these events taking place over the course of that time. Yes, you
Well,
all
we
can
did
definitely.
multiple
You've
long
definitely
rests.
all got a good long rest. You are well rejuvenated.
I decided not to sleep the whole time.
2 levels of exhaustion for Adso's just walking around like coffee, stimulants.
Need to know all I need to know about Netherese City.
I played a Warforge for so long, and it was like, oh, who needs to sleep?
All right. Awesome. Good stuff, everybody. That was great. That was great for me because now I have some really cool ties for you all for later on in the adventure. Like, can you guys believe we're only on level 4 of 16 so far?
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
We are accomplishing so much for a level 4 party. Now,
Right.
I realize there's 6 of us, and that, like, ups the power. But, yeah.
Yeah. All right,
By
everyone.
the way,
Oh, yeah.
I read that after we finished it, I read the Book of the Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, that's like the most simple, boring adventure ever.
Oh, right.
You did awesome.
Thank you. I saw that and I'm like, no. That's not how this goes. Toss the book out.
Why did they publish that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would work as a one shot. Like you could 100% do that as written in like 3 hours. Like you could.
Yeah.
But that's boring.
Yeah, if you gloss over, you travel through the woods, you're there. You cross over a bridge, you're there. You know?
Yep. All right, everyone. So let's go ahead and take our break, and when we come back, we will head on back to Candlekeep. All right, everyone. So, welcome back. We are still in Silvery Moon for now. Whenever you all are prepared, the teleportation circles are ready to transport you back to Candlekeep.
Is Oso coming, or is he?
Kendrick he probably would have bid you all farewell the very first day he was there, and
Okay.
used the teleportation circle to get back to Neverwinter.
Yeah.
But yeah, you all know you have a friend in low places in Neverwinter if you ever find yourselves there.
Ooh.
It never hurts.
Friend is such a generous term.
Well, he very much would have called you all his friends when he left.
Alistair considers him a friend.
Releve's still a little sore that he made her kill a dragon.
It would be
And she will
interesting.
chew on that forever.
It'd be interesting if we make our way to Neverwinter and or Luskan eventually in this campaign. That'd be interesting.
Good to know. I'll take a note of that. I hadn't really thought about Luskan at all, but if someone wants to go there, that's a really cool thing about a campaign like Candlekeep is that, like, oh, you want to go to Luskan? Cool. This one's in Luskan. Like,
Luskan has a lot of fun stuff.
oh yeah, Luskan's super cool. Just pirate wizard city. Okay.
Okay, so teleportation circle, Candlekeep, zap.
Zap. All right. So
And away we go.
Bam.
Lilith leads you all back to the teleportation circle, bids you all farewell, and in the blink of an eye, you all find yourselves back at Candlekeep.
Hopefully Snape's not the welcome party.
So, as you all arrive back on the teleportation circle, who do you all see standing not a few feet away from your arrival than Mr.
great.
Kravis Undwilm? He
Where's
is not facing you all. So as soon as the crack happens, you see him kind of glance over towards you all, give a very annoyed look, and then turn his attention back towards these 6 figures clad in black robes. And he says, "Best of luck to all of you. Be safe." And then another crack, and those 6 black-robed figures vanish, teleported somewhere else in the world.
Who are those people?
And as he turns around, Amy is like has her thumbs in her ears, fingers wiggling, tongue out, and then he turns around like, and
He looks down towards Amy and says, "Who in the blazes keeps letting a child in here? Who those were is none of your business. I'll be on my way." He starts walking.
Didn't Rigel grow up here? Like, kids should be pretty normal, right?
Rigel did grow up here, but children are certainly not a normal thing here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that was sus. We should figure out what those black robe people were.
Can we rewind to teleportation? Like, is there like a undo transport?
So
Can I,
as Craven's making his way out and he sees Releve kind of eyeing the teleportation circle, he's like, "Don't touch that. You don't know what you're doing."
She is immediately going to touch it. Immediately. Just one finger. Making eye contact.
It starts to glow. The symbol you touched.
Ooh, what's this one do?
It's like, "Ah! Stop that!"
Can I try and figure out where it goes to? Is that-
Yeah, you could make an Arcana check. So
Is this one of those moments where we fixate on something you didn't mean for us to fixate on?
So, Adso, the teleportation circle that he was standing on, you can get a quick glance at the runes that are around it. It led to somewhere on the Sea of Falling Stars, the eastern portion of it, to be exact.
Would we know what that is?
You all can make history checks.
Cool.
Nope. Nope.
I'm not using my sexual inspiration, but I will use a shift.
Okay.
Since we've taken a long rest by now. There we go. Better.
There you go. All right. So, Nathaniel and Adso, when Adso kind of whispers out the name of the place that the circle was lined up to, it is on the eastern shores of the Sea of Fallen Stars, deep within Thayan territory.
Oh.
And upon hearing the name of that city spoken out loud, Undwilm just wheels on you, Adso. He's like, You do not speak a word of what you have seen here to anybody. And he turns around towards all of you. You all have no business meddling in these matters. It is far, far below your station here. If I find out that any one of you has spoken any word about... And as he's coming in, Sprig's like, Undwil, is everything okay? And Sprig kind of walks in behind him, and Undwil looks down and says, You, adjutant, keep a better eye on your people, sticking their noses where they do not belong.
Hi, Sprig!
And Sprig looks up towards Undwil and says, Cookie?
Yes.
Undwil's like,
Sprig is
and he
like-
turns and just stalks out of the room. Big old cape flourish as he turns.
Oh, that's the cookie.
He never said anything about singing about it. Hmm.
B is for cookie. That's good enough
So,
for me.
should we tell Sprig?
You certainly can if you want to.
Just so, why are you sending people to the Sea of Fallen Stars?
It's
So
a
with those
maid
history checks, everybody,
territory.
you would recognize the name of that city as being one of the cities that is deep within the Thayan territory. Is anyone here familiar with Thay?
I don't know.
I know the wizard.
Player or character?
Either of you. We'll say players.
Character, no. Player, yes.
Okay. So
No.
the city that they were sent to was the city of Nith. It is a smaller city outside of the main populations of the Red Wizards of Thay, but it is a city that is very much under the Red Wizards' control. The Red Wizards are bad guys. They are very much a nation of evil wizards that believe that those who have the most magical might have the right to treat and act upon anyone in the world that they see fit in whatever way they see fit.
So, is their leader still the Lich that's pretty much Voldemort, but a Lich?
Yep.
Oh, is this really safe?
And Sprig looks towards you and she says, "Oh, Undwilm, he's a handler for some of our let's call them off the books associates."
I thought we were the off the books associates.
She pulls out she has a book in her hand and she's like writing. She's like, "Oh," slams it shut. "You very much are. Yes, not on the books at all."
I think we're off the books in a totally different way.
She says, "Anyway, welcome back. I've been instructed by Mr. Flattergast, by great reader Flattergast, to find you as soon as you arrived, and he has a very, very important mission for you. We are to proceed immediately to the Firefly Cellar."
Oh, okay.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Says, yes, he seemed very adamant about finding you as soon as you got here.
Okay. Should we pass her the information real quick about the expedition that might come up
Sure, yeah.
to the desert and how they found a Netherese obelisk, or they think there's a Netherese obelisk there.
And we closed the Shadow Crossing?
Yeah, we did.
s-
Oh yeah, first thing.
And the statue.
Succeeded.
Says, "Oh, right. We heard that you had all succeeded in doing that. Did you find out the origin of the book?"
Hank, you're not coming through.
Dag nabbit, Hank.
No.
Hold on.
Oh, very,
I
very
hear him now.
quietly there.
Is that okay?
Yep,
There
we got
you
you
are.
back.
Yep.
I was trying to say, do we need to our less than savory statue to her?
Yes.
So
Oh,
as
yeah.
you all hand that over to her, she says, "Oh, yes, absolutely. I should definitely take care of this," and she shoves it into her cookie bag, which is by the way
Of course
only
he does.
only about like the size of a coin purse.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well,
Please
I
don't
pulled
do
it out of
those
an amulet necklace around my neck, so.
I know, but like, what if she wants a cookie and pulls out an orchid
Pulls out the
statue
Orcus
and
figurine.
eats it?
Oh, it's for Orcus.
So,
That's
she says,
what I'm
yes, we've most
imagining.
certainly heard about your successes in the far north. Very, very impressive. Congratulations. We heard you even slew a dragon. Most impressive.
Relevase is gonna burst into tears.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Somebody
It
needs to get
wasn't that
Releve a
hard of
book on
fair.
black dragons. All right.
Just because it's a black dragon doesn't mean it was a terrible dragon.
That is true. Individualism is a thing, but this dragon did
Not
talk about
different.
like viciously murdering all of you the first time he saw you. So to be fair,
Yeah.
but I digress. When Sprig hears about all this, she says, "Oh yes, I'm to deliver you this, and congratulations." And she hands over what looks like a pair of like diving goggles. They fit directly over your eyes and strap around the back, and they seem to twinkle with faint starlight.
Oh, are these goggles of night
They
vision?
are in fact goggles of night.
Who
We
just
have
got
multiple
goggles
people.
tonight?
I think there are a couple people that do not have night vision or dark vision, right?
Or I
Mhm.
don't.
Adso doesn't.
Free up a
No.
infusion slot for Nathaniel.
Nathaniel just has been running a light cantrip usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I
this way
have
you don't have
seeing
to.
eye cat. So if we don't have Rigel, I think Releve is the best candidate for it, right?
Hmm,
We get one for everybody, or we only have one.
One set of goggles of night.
I would say me or Adso. He's the big spellcaster.
Yeah, but I have a seeing eye cat that I can share vision with.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're like the exact opposite of the other group I'm in. That is, until recently, all night vision.
I wish.
But Sprig, as she is leading you all down, says, "Yes, yes. As I was relaying the news of your success to London Flattergas is when he said to find you as soon as you arrive in the town and relay you directly to the Firefly Cellar. He says there is an operation there underway that could very, very much use your assistance and your expertise, and he kept saying something about, we'll see how good they are. I don't know what that
Oh.
means, but
Is this a test?
Oh,
Everything's a test.
feel free to lead the way.
and so she does. So she leads you all towards the House of Rest. A few of you that have spent a little bit more time in Candlekeep would know that pretty much every square inch of this place, if it is not directly a library or a book storage depository, there is a library or book storage depository inside, underneath, above it, or somewhere nearby. And so Sprig leads you all towards the House of Rest, which, upon first discovery, is pretty much under normal operation. There is a decent amount of people inside. Most of them are just hanging out in chairs, reading, and so on. But eventually, she leads you towards a back door and opens it, and there is a nearly vertical staircase. It is one of those staircases that if you took the first step without knowing how vertical this was, you would just fall and just keep falling. But she goes in and then pulls a lantern off of the wall, which is full of little fireflies. And it's letting off a very dim light, but it is letting off a bit of light. And begins leading you all down this staircase at the House of Rest.
Amy will follow right behind.
Okay, let's try not and trip.
This is an adventure.
Yeah.
Scar's
Any
just
checks we have to
grumbling.
make to go down?
Yes, let's go ahead
Are
and
you coming, Uskar?
Yeah, he's in. For some reason, he's in the back, staying really far away from this little girl.
All right. So,
Was it
Everything?
magic you don't like, or children you don't like, Uskar?
Both.
Say a little column A, a little column B.
I just
The
noticed the
little kid's
lighting
creepy to
on
him.
this is a bit broken, so give me just one moment, everybody.
Have we not gotten MK back yet?
No, we haven't
No.
gotten NPA back yet, unfortunately. Okay. So the lighting should be good. Oh, what? Okay, everybody. Brief pause for a moment. My dynamic lighting did not go through, so I have to very quickly dynamically light this section real quick.
Oh, good. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Yep, we got about maybe 5 minutes while I do this.
Sounds
Yeah.
Back in a sec,
I
then.
wanted the same.
Scatter. Excuse me.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I'm just about done.
what to do.
Yo, I'm just about done. Almost.
Can you find me a water bottle?
Okay, just got to throw on the doors and then we're good to go.
Yep.
Let go.
Okay, everyone. So as soon as we're all back, we're good to go. Let's go and get the readies in the chat, and then we'll jump back into it. Sorry about that, and thank you for your patience. Awesome. Okay. So, eventually, leading down these stairways, the staircase begins to form into a spiral that goes deeper and deeper down beneath the House of Rest. And eventually, you look behind you, and Sprig is gone.
Oh. Where'd she go?
And
Sprig?
although Sprig is gone, so you call out for her?
Uh-huh.
So you hear a very faint voice from up ahead. It's like, you go ahead, you're almost there. Bye!
Is this a trap?
Is Slattergas down there?
We're all gonna die.
So up ahead of you all, you see some faint light beginning to show at the bottom of this spiral staircase.
Like, how far beneath the ground are we now?
Probably a good 100 feet below ground.
Okay.
So, as you all make your way down the rest of that staircase, eventually you do come out into a very large circular room. It looks very much like any other library. It is very dimly lit by several firefly-filled lanterns throughout the walls. And I'll go ahead and drop you all here.
Oh,
It
this
is very dark in here. It is lit, but very dimly so, as the only true source of light is all of the firefly lanterns all over the walls. Let me
All I see is a
get that up a
black
little.
rectangle.
Oh, sorry, I put 2 Rigels and no Alistair out. There we go.
Ah.
Is
So,
that Sprig in front of us?
no, that is not. But let me go ahead and describe the room for you. The circular room contains dark wood bookcases packed with books of assorted shapes, sizes, and ages. Flowers in ceramic pots line the tops of the shelves, giving the area a sweet fragrance. Alcoves are spaced at regular intervals around the perimeter of the room. 4 of them contain polished bronze statues of bespectacled scholars, and 3 of the alcoves hold overstuffed chairs. In the center of the room, a brass railing surrounds an overlook that gives a view of the lower levels of these stacks. Hanging from the ceiling, above the opening in the floor, is an enormous stone sculpture of an open book that looks as though the cover is flapping to keep it aloft. A spiral staircase to the east leads down, as well as up to the trapdoor set into the ceiling up above that you all would have just come down through. The occasional errant firefly flits about here. And in front of you all, there is a very, very old Elven Woman. She is up on one of the many library ladders, getting up to tops of one of these stacks, reaching for a book. And without looking down towards any of you and looking towards you all, she shouts over her shoulder, Ebder! Ebder, are you back? I never left, grumbles a voice from far below. Oh? The elf looks down and seems surprised at all of your presence. Then she says, indicating to the room around her, Oh, of course. Professor Flattergas must have sent you all to assist with the renovations of this place. I'm Scribe Varnir. Sorry for the state of things. As you can see, we are still a little bit of a work in progress around here, but I'll be with you shortly. She returns to her books, and as she turns, she immediately turns back and says, Actually, would you mind bringing the stack of books downstairs to Ebder? I'll meet you there. She points to a rather substantially large pile of books on a stool and says, Thank you so much.
So downstairs, so continuing down the stairs we were going down, or down a different set of stairs?
The spiral staircase here goes up and down.
So the one came out of, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's take the books, I guess.
Yeah.
Down we go.
Anything odd about these books?
They're broken up. A lot of them have covers falling off. They definitely appear to be in quite a state of disrepair. I will teleport you all downstairs.
What are these like green and khaki little spiky sculptures on the bookshelves?
On the bookshelves, those were the pots, the potted plants.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. So, this area down here has a very, very thoroughly musty smell, hangs in the air. There's a few concentric rings of bookcases that dominate the space, with a heavy granite table occupying the center of the room. Small stacks of books rest on the table, along with a candle holder that contains firefly-filled jars. A man working over the table looks up towards you and says, "Galby, we have guests." And then a little girl sitting across from the table turns up and she says, "Oh, hello everyone, hello. I'm Galby. This is Ebder. We fixed the books."
A little girl. Amy skips over.
You're the
Hi.
conservation team.
She didn't notice Alistair in any other form of the little girl, so she looks over and says, "Oh, it's been so long since there's been someone anywhere close to my age down here. Hi, I'm Galby."
Hi.
So as Galby and Amy talk, Ebder kind of walks over towards you all. Says, "Are these the newest ones to be bound?"
Yep, I guess so. You're the conservation team, I guess, right?
Says, "Yes, we are, and you must be the lot that Professor Flattergast sent to assist us all with the renovation. Why he decided we needed a full team of adventurers down here is beyond me, but great reader is a great reader."
Do you have any equipment that probably would need a lot of help to be moved before the renovation?
Says, "Well, the book up there, the one hanging from the rafters, its chains and such are in pretty big state of disrepair. I suppose that could use a pretty able-bodied group to take a look at them."
All right. So the renovation is underway, or is
Well
going to
underway.
happen?
So this place is in a general state of disrepair. The walls are leaking from some. It looks like there must be some sort of water source nearby. The walls are damp. A lot of the bookshelves are near falling apart. It looks like this place hasn't really seen a whole lot of love in quite some time.
Ooh. And the books have been moved out of this area, right?
Oh no, they have
can't-
not.
You
And
can't
Ebder
surely be working at the same time a renovation's happening.
says, "Well, unfortunately that is the case here." Ebder would tell you. He says, "My job is to rebind, copy, and fix any of the books here that I can, and of course to copy any of the ones that can't be salvaged into new bindings."
Wait, you okay?
Sounds terrible.
It's good, honest work, and I get to look at all the interesting things that come through. Every now and then, Galby gets her hands on a nice old ancient bedtime rhyme or something like that, but works out pretty well.
There's nothing for me to hit.
Says,
Did
"Hit!
the spiral-
please
did the
don't hit
spiral
anything here."
Did the spiral staircase continue down to another level?
No,
or
it
did
does stop there, and there is another staircase leading down over this way.
over here?
Yep. And he says, "Well, several of us live down here, so we've got a full kitchen, so if you all are hungry, head on downstairs. I think Crinkle's down there cooking up some bacon right now. We have
wow.
one long-term resident, one short-term resident here as well. Skittish tabaxi lady,
Qualify as.
name of Catula. But, we've got quite a lot of work here. There's no need for y'all to start right away. It's starting to get late, so if any of you have anything else you wanted to do, feel free to take a look around, explore the stacks, and you all can get started with your work in the morning. I'm sure Varnier would have you working right now if she could, but, she'll be pretty absorbed in what she's doing upstairs for a while."
Scar hears food and heads to food.
And
have
as you're heading down, yeah, it's the staircase downstairs. So as you're all heading down there, Galby's just humming this little tune to herself, and after a moment, Ebder says, "Galby, would you stop with that song? Can't get it out of my head."
That's the little girl that Amy was talking to, right?
Right, Galby.
Is Gilby a halfling or a little girl?
She's a little girl. This is the best art I could find. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just making sure.
That is halfling art, though.
I'm really interested in this like rebinding process. Like
I'm
it's
taking
not
y'all.
just like
Are all of
do
you
you
heading
do-
downstairs to the kitchen, or are some of you
I'm-
staying up here with Ebder?
I'm staying up here with Emder.
Fantastic.
I'm sorry. Out of curiosity, is the song familiar that she's humming?
No, it is not. It is very much not.
Okay.
Never heard it before.
Okay. Okay.
We have the party on. I seem to have reached a dead end.
And there you go. So,
Hello.
inside of
who are you?
there, the Kenku turns as you enter in. Who are you? What are you doing here? Don't kill me! And he holds up a frying pan.
Who
Or
are
she
you?
holds up a
Don't
frying
kill
pan.
me!
Charge is like food.
Who said that in front of them before?
And he says, "Oh, yes, just take whatever you want. There's plenty of food. There's bacon. There's some eggs. Excellent dinner food. That's what the humans eat for dinner, right?"
This one does at least.
There you go. Eat and don't kill.
Uskar takes like a
I have no idea what to do.
Uskar just takes a heaping plate of bacon, nothing else.
Nice.
You see him just walking around with this plate as he's just looking around, seeing what he sees.
So there's
Amy will look for something sweet.
all right. Crinkle, seeing Amy looking around, she says, "Little girl, little girls don't try to murder Crinkle. Here." And she hands you a plate that has a few various assorted pastries on it.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes. Crinkle likes little girls. Little girls are not mean. Don't try to kill Crinkle.
Why would anyone want to kill Crinkle?
It's been a long
Trust
time,
her.
but it happened a lot before. Hasn't really happened since I got here to Candlekeep, but I always gotta keep on my guard. Never know when someone's gonna try to kill me.
I think it's safe here.
I can
Probably.
assure you that at least
I just like
have.
to be left to my fireflies. And Crinkle opens up her cloak, and she's got like this swarm of fireflies inside. Hands down the most illumination that has been shown into this place since you all arrived. I keep
not
the fire.
weird.
I keep care of the fireflies for the cellar. It's Crinkle's job.
You were the cook.
I also cook. Yes.
He waves a piece of bacon at him. He's like, this is pretty good.
Thank you.
Just shoves it in his mouth.
Thank you. So now that Crinkle has lit all the light into the room, you can see that she's lost a lot of her feathers. She doesn't have very many of them left, and those that do remain are frayed and disheveled. She carries a long staff with a hook at the end of it, which she uses to change the firefly lamps that hang from the ceilings. She says, "Cthulhu's down there studying. I don't know exactly what she's up to, but she's right down there if anyone wants to go see her." At which point, you all hear the sound of a door opening, and a tabaxi lady steps out. And she says, "Crinkle, stop telling people I'm back here. I'm trying to study in peace." She looks around at all of you.
What are you studying?
"What are you studying?"
Everything.
She waits.
Well, at the moment, as far as we've traveled, ideally a plate of dinner.
Yeah, there's bacon. Maybe some dark magic
after
here and
that.
there.
Dark magic. As well, I study folklore.
Boring.
You're boring. Goes back
He
into her room and
is
slams
boring.
her door.
No, come back. Oh, Chlorine.
Gull, are you a bird?
I'm a kenku.
Is that a kind of bird?
Distant relation to birds. You could say that, yes.
Can you fly?
No. She holds out her wings that are practically featherless. She's like, "How could I have no feathers?"
Pretty good
That's
speech
bad.
for a kenku.
As I've been around for quite some time. My vocabulary is rather extensive.
My vocabulary is very extensive in the exact same voice.
Crinkle claps, says, well done, well done. An excellent Kenko you would make.
So are you the cook, or do you do other things?
Well, mainly, I change the firefly lanterns, and I take care of all of the fireflies here. That is mainly what I do. Just so happens that I can also cook.
A man of many talents.
You got any mead or ale?
Crinkle's a lady.
Crinkle's an old lady.
Crinkle's an old lady.
Oh,
But
AMI.
she said, yes, we have wines and ales in the cold cellar back this way. Come.
He just kind of grunts.
She points
Oh,
back
Uskar.
towards this back room over here at the very far end. She says, it's Crinkle's room. Private. Stay out of Crinkle's room. And opens this door and leads y'all in. Or just Uskar, mainly. And Uskar, inside of this room, there is a beautiful painting of Candlekeep on the southern wall. It appears quite old, has not been refurbished or worked on in a very long time. But the other walls are lined with narrow bookshelves that are packed with jars of fruit preserves, pickled vegetables, and a lot of wines and meads.
Ooh. He's very happy, and he's gonna look around for a cup.
Crinkle just says, take the bottle.
I like you.
I like you, she says in your voice.
He's like, huh? All right, and he just kind of plops down with his plate of bacon and his bottle of mead, and just goes to town.
Nice. Okay. So, Releve and Adsa, what are you guys doing up there with Ebder and Galeby?
Oh, I am just asking him all the questions about the conservation process. Like, does he do rebacks, partial rebacks? Does he do special housing for some of these books?
Releve couldn't get down the stairs.
Oh, sorry, I didn't
Whoops.
realize that you wanted to go down.
Yeah.
Here, I'll drop you down there. You can explore around.
Thank you.
Does he make his own paper for how does one make new books in a magic with magic?
So he tells you that the system that they use is rather traditional. The books are copied and rebound. He has a nearly infinite supply of paper down here to use for the process. But yeah, he
Okay.
says he does whatever is necessary. If he can preserve the contents of the book themselves, then he will simply rebind them. But if he must, he will copy them over. And he'll copy them over and wholesale. Copy them over, rebind them, do the whole shebang if it's necessary.
Oh wow, how many can he do in a single day?
He says that it really depends on how much work is necessary. If
Are you a
it's
scribe wizard?
he is.
Okay. And that's why they only have one person down here doing everything.
Yep, they've got him doing this, Varnier overseeing the entire place, and Varnier still hasn't really paid much of attention to any of you yet.
Okay. And then how many rare books end up down here?
She says, "Oh, many of them do. Many old books indeed. A lot of them end up down here. Seems to be the place where if Candlekeep can't find a good place for them, and they can't seem to classify it as overtly dangerous, they just end up down here. So we've got some books that might be dangerous, but that haven't really proven to be anything yet. Other books that were just oddities and ended up down here because they couldn't figure out anything better to do with them."
Are there any lying around?
He says, yeah, there's a few here. And he picks one up. and it's called The Constant Scrivener. As you open it up, you can tell that the book is meant to act as a parody of a real-world book, and it's in pretty good condition. It's a contemporary parody of a book called The Constant Scrivener. So when you read the title, The Constant Scrivener, you would have immediately recognized it as an extremely famous, just like rare work that.
Okay.
And as soon as you picked it up, Ebder would have just been like, ah! And as soon as you open it, it's just basically got the Elvish equivalent of the word gotcha written over and over and over and over and over again in it.
Love it.
It is 994 pages of that word repeated.
Okay.
That is fantastic.
Dedication there.
So, what are your opinions on the rebinding? Like, does Candlekeep have any put any import on provenance of these books and preserving provenance? Do you infuse pieces of the original book into the new book, or what?
I have to Google a word.
Provenance is where the book came from, or who did the book belong to before. So I used to work in a rare book collection.
That is so cool. Oh, that's
That
like a
is
dream job for me.
amazing.
Holy shit, that's so cool. Like I like gushed like a fangirl at Powell's Books in Portland when I went into their rare book section. It's like, oh. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Powell's, but it's like the biggest bookstore on the West Coast.
Yeah, I know someone who used to work there.
That's so cool. Like, to get into their rare book section, you actually have to like give them your ID. Like, you have to hand over your driver's license or an official form of ID before you can enter in, and they won't give it back until you come out.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a read. Ours, we had a reading room where someone every now and then had to be assigned to watch someone read.
Did you guys have someone assigned to turn the pages?
No, I think we trusted people enough for that.
There is a place over in Mold that has like the world's largest Arthurian legend collection, like the old books.
Wow.
And they wear gloves and turn the pages for you.
Wow, that's so cool.
So cool.
You need to go to Powell's again. God, yeah. I think the oldest book they had there was from like the 1100s.
Ooh.
Insane. It was on like this big old glass case right in the center of the room. So fucking cool. It's huge too. Like, I didn't realize just how big those things are.
Did it have like the illuminations and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay. I've only gotten to touch one like completely vellum binding, and it's just like
magical.
It feels so nice.
That's so
cool. We got nerdy there for a minute.
Yeah, got seriously nerdy for a minute. That's cool. All right, but yes, he would say that they definitely do their best to maintain provenance, and it's funny, they're gonna get to hear me hit the Google pronounce button in the playback here, but he does say that he always does his best to maintain provenance, and that if the book itself cannot be salvaged, he will include at least a remnant in some way if he can of the original.
Okay. So like, I know how to do this by mundane means, but as a wizard, I had never considered it. And then, yeah, any special tools or is it just you and your magic quill?
He asked if you'd like to see his office, his bindery.
Oh, yes, I would love to see the bindery.
So he says that he does try to avoid using magical means whenever he can, unless, of course, the book was created using magic, and then he tries to duplicate the way that it was made. But
Okay.
So, there's leather bits, wood shavings, and paper scraps littering the floor all over and around this large workbench. Tools and various contraptions are organized neatly around a handful of books in different states of disrepair. Stools surround the bench, one of which has a leather apron draped over it.
So no board chair or guillotine.
You probably know more about this craft than I do, Adso, so why don't you describe what might be in here?
So yeah, this is probably his bench. So this is where he works on the main stuff. Probably there's a cabinet of sewing cradles, and there should be a large-ish table. I don't know how recent this development is as a tool, but like with a blade attached to it that creates a sort of, and another blade at the bottom of the table, so it creates this giant scissor.
Oh.
Yeah. And then in order to cut large stacks of paper, you basically have a guillotine that you just have another table where you stack paper onto it, and then you just pull down a big lever, and a big giant blade just chops.
Jeez.
We had that in elementary school.
I think this might be a little bit more of a complex machine. Or maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's simple action, but yeah. But the fact that there's wood shavings means he's doing Gothic bindings, or at least wooden board laced-in bindings of sorts. Which is super cool, super time-consuming, and I hate them.
So, as he says all that, and now that he's back in his office, he says, well, now that I'm here, I might as well get some work done. Very, very lovely meeting you, Ad. So wonderful to meet another man of the craft.
Oh, yes. As a wizard, a book is your best tool, and knowing how your tool is made and how to care for your tool is always of the utmost importance to me.
All right, so as you make your way out, you hear Ebder whistling that same tune that Galeby was whistling. He's like, that damn tune! So what are the rest of you all doing downstairs?
Drinking and eating bacon.
Drinking and eating bacon. That sounds like a good fucking time to me.
Hell yeah.
Releve has been knocking on the lady's door this whole time.
Oh, nice. So after a few minutes of that, Releve...
it's just gotten more and more like drumming, like she's really getting into the beat,
So after a few minutes of that, the tabaxi would walk up and open up the door and be like, oh, I hadn't noticed you there. Very
kind of
just
folklore.
If you insist. She backs up into the room and shows you the desk that she's been working on. She says,
Releve's gonna go right to it.
So she says, well, it's slow going. I mean, the light of these damned fireflies being the best thing I can get. And again, there's just a few lanterns hanging up from overhead. And the only illumination in this entire place comes from these fireflies. It's a very dimly lit space. Makes it very difficult to read, of course. And,
Did you want some better lighting? We have a guy with us who could probably do that.
Please.
Yeah, she's not even gonna go get Nathaniel. She's just gonna bellow his name.
Crinkle, leaps up into the air and knocks over a couple jars of preserves, and they're with you, Uskar.
Oh, which one?
Coming to kill me!
You rang Releve?
Yeah. Can you help her out with the lighting?
How much light are the fireflies putting out?
It makes this entire area just dimly lit.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my magical tinkering thing and kind of fish out a few little ball bearings and light them up where they light up a 5-foot area apiece.
Nice. Okay.
And then I'm going to look at one of the containers the fireflies are in and start doing some pondering on it.
Why don't y'all use regular lanterns?
Well, it's sort of an experiment from the people of Candlekeep, and it's Crinkle's obsession, and she keeps such good care of this place down here. I mean, it may not look like it, but you try being the caretaker of a place for 50 years by yourself and see how well it looks.
She's been here for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Does she ever go up?
Oh no, she has not exited this cellar in 50 years.
Wow.
That's not healthy.
Goosegar, as soon as
Wow.
Nathaniel touches one of those lanterns, you just see Crinkle's ear just pop up, and then she scurries out as quickly as she can. Put that down! Put it down right now! Put it down! She raises her staff over her head. Put it down!
He carefully lowers it.
She reaches down and picks
Crinkle?
up. She looks over towards you. Yes?
Who wants to kill you?
Jesus.
Everyone wants to kill Crinkle.
Right? Crinkle's like, many years ago, a group of adventurers came across my nest. They didn't ask any questions, they just started slaughtering. Ah!
Oh, murder hobos.
Has anyone in your life been affected by a murder hobo? Call 1-800.
Yes, as a matter of fact, my life has been affected by murder hobos.
So, what kind of folk
so
is,
yeah, Cthulhu's kind of looking out the window. She's like, I should have mentioned that Crinkle really doesn't like
Window?
anyone messing with the fireflies.
There's a window?
There are no windows in here.
You said you
She
looked out a
said-
window?
I said window.
She's
Yeah,
I
she's a
meant poked
cat.
your
Maybe she
head
made
around
one
the
up.
door, out the door.
sorry.
There are no windows here. Yes, the window opens directly to solid earth.
Wow. So no magical It's not a magical window?
Nope. There are no windows.
That sounds right for a conservation lab.
Yeah.
All right, but Releve, Cthulhu researches regional forms of folk magic specifically. She would go on about how she is of an ancient line of extremely powerful sorcerers, but it seems to have skipped her for some reason. She can't quite figure out why. So she is...
Interesting.
So she is working tirelessly to try and figure out all that she can about folk magic, namely that of the Tabaxi people. So she says that through study and devotion to the environment that she grew up in, she was able to establish some small forms of magic. And as she says that, she kind of puts out her paw, and a few little plants grow up out of the pads of her paws.
Ooh, that's more than I
Says-
can do.
It's all just very aesthetic. And then she closes her hand and they disappear. And I can do various things, but my family, some sort of draconic bloodline sorcerers, all of them. And I just don't have it. I can't figure out why. I have to painstakingly research everything. It takes me months and months and months of meditation and work in the forest to even find a single use for my abilities. But somewhere in these books, I will find the answer, and I will figure out how to tap into the power that is inside of me.
Maybe you're adopted.
Not a very
No.
nice thing to say to somebody.
There's nothing wrong with being adopted.
You just hear Uskar from the other room. That was rude.
Maybe
Why is
you
that
need
rude?
maybe you need a patron.
Oh,
Oh no.
When you say that, Cthulhu just like does a cat jump off the bed and pokes her head around. She says, "Know anyone that's hiring?"
I can put a word in for you.
That'd be great. Much appreciated. So I would prefer it not to be one of those like tentacly sea monsters. Those things creep me out.
You hear Uskar
I
again.
don't know any
It's a trap.
tentacly
It's a
sea
trap.
monsters.
So, please roll a d6 for me.
Who?
Anybody. D6. Alistair, you find that you are whistling a tune. You don't know when you started. I don't think you've ever heard this tune before, but the more you whistle it, kind of humming it to yourself, the more it sounds just like the one that Galeby was singing to herself.
Lovely.
And still not familiar?
I hate earworms.
I think to get rid of earworms, you have to create an earworm for yourself.
And I will do so. I am Henry VIII, I am Henry VIII, I am Henry.
Alistair, you have to consciously make an effort to not hum that song. Anytime that you stop concentrating, much like you would concentrate on a spell, you begin humming it again.
Do you have a
Do I
6
feel
little
I could
constitutionist?
concentrate on a spell at the same time?
No, you do not.
You lose concentration immediately on the spell.
Could I concentrate on a spell?
You could, but then you would begin humming the song again.
Okay.
Whoops.
Is anybody else? Nathaniel?
No one else is... I mean, they might hum it if it catches on to them, but no one else is so inclined as you are to do so.
Nathaniel?
Oh no, is it infectious?
Nathaniel?
Yeah.
I can't get
Yes?
this tune out of my head.
Oh,
Da 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 da
is this
da
why we were
da
brought here?
Have you been hearing it?
I mean, the kid was singing it.
Oh, is this what we need to figure out?
I just can't. Can't stop humming it.
So you guys still hanging out downstairs in the lower level, or are you heading up to the main levels?
What? Let's see if the little girl here is still humming that tune or not.
Was she humming it too?
She was. That was the first time you heard it. She walked right past you and was humming it.
Yeah, let's go find her. And
Uskar, are you staying down there drinking, or are you going upstairs too?
He's bringing it with him, but he'll go with plate of bacon and all.
as we head upstairs, I become Alazorax. Am I still humming the tune?
You are.
Okay.
So as you enter into the room, enter up there, Galeby kind of looks over towards you all and says, "Hi, everyone," and just continues humming the song. And she looks back towards Alazorax and says, "Who's the old guy?"
I wouldn't worry
Sure.
about it.
You just hear Uskar grumble.
Hearing everyone come back, I'm like, hey guys, this place is amazing.
I'm the personification of his grumpiness.
So,
And pointed at Uskar.
as you are all over there, Varnier finally comes down the stairs, and she walks into the room, and she looks around. She's like, "Why aren't you all working? You were brought down here to do a job. Start lifting some boxes. Clean up some clean up some bookshelves, paint some walls, do something. And what is that you're humming? And she looks over towards you, Elizorax, and she comes over. Can you hum that song for me again, please?
No, and I don't.
And Galeby from down the way begins humming it. And Varnier kind of tilts her head up. She's like, oh my. And you see her pull out a sending stone. She says, Professor Flattergast, it's the song again. And at that point, you all hear several slamming noises, locks engaging throughout the place, and a faint shimmer of blue magic encases everything on the exterior of the building for a brief moment before it vanishes.
Oh, God.
Scar just slams his hands on the floor. God damn it!
And Varnier
In
looks
the
around and
midst of
says,
a panini,
it's
you
been,
give us an...
It's been about 600 years since that song. Huh. Well, looks like we're
What
stuck down
song?
here for a while. And with that, you all hear the final large slam of a lock going into place just at the top of the staircase you descended. And that's where we're going to pick up next week.
Oh.